should have been in English so we could understand. The Epstein files are in English, and y'all don't seem to understand those either.
How racist do you have to be offended that Bad Bunny is performing at the Super Bowl halftime show? Like, Bad Bunny is a Puerto Rican artist, which is a part of America, but we all know for a fact, if Justin Bieber, which is a Canadian artist, by the way, performed at the Super Bowl halftime show, everyone would be like, oh, yay, whoa, whoa, whoa. But since Bad Bunny speaks Spanish, he's not American. America is built off culture. It's literally a melting pot of culture. So what is the big issue here?
Hi guys, it's your girl Blizzy and you're welcome back to Blizzy React channel. And if you're joining us for the first time, we appreciate you. You are welcome. And also do well to subscribe to our channel for more real and unfiltered gist. In today's video, we are diving into a viral FAFO moment that shocked social media right after the Super Bowl. Bad Bunny didn't just perform, he dominated the conversation, stole the spotlight, and became the cultural moment everyone was talking about. But while millions of people celebrated, a certain group online wasn't so happy. MAGA supporters erupted across social media, calling the halftime show political, un-American, and even disrespectful. But here is the twist. While they were complaining, the internet was busy celebrating culture and global influence. So guys, join me as we get into more videos.
Well, folks, as we expected, MAGA is melting down online over the Super Bowl halftime performance because, of course, they are. They can't go a day without complaining about something or finding something to be angry about. See, if you're a normal person, you watched the Super Bowl, you enjoyed the game, it was fun, the halftime performance was great, it was electric, they had so many different cultures represented, it was really cool to see. But if you're MAGA, you have to find something wrong with it, and they think it was woke or anti-American, all that random crap that they come up with. So I want to show you some of the reactions from the biggest MAGA influencers online, and you can see how absurd it is. I also want to talk about Donald Trump's response to the halftime show, which is as predictable.
Meanwhile, here in the States, the MAGAs are still exploding with rage over the Bad Bunny halftime show. Republican Congresswoman from Missouri is threatening now to call in the FCC to report profanities that either may or may not have been uttered by Bad Bunny. He has no idea.
The lyrics, from what we have seen from Bad Bunny, are very disturbing. And if it holds true that, I don't speak fluent Spanish, okay? I know how to ask where the bathroom is, but these lyrics, if it is true what was said on national television, we have a lot of questions. This could be much worse than the Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction. Let's put it that way.
If only there was some way to translate that mysterious code Bad Bunny used, we could get to the bottom of this once and for all. Let me see if I understand what Bad Bunny was saying. Now you're mad because you do? Okay. And there are a lot of people in the MAGA news media who are still still making a giant deal out of this halftime show, which to my eyes was just some people singing and dancing, but so many of them are so mad, I think they might need to be medicated.
Depression, anger,
Stupid Bowl halftime show, that's the focus of tonight's angle.
hallucinations, paranoia,
You see, all these foreigners speaking a foreign language with foreign flags marching into the camera like a caravan.
involuntary muscle contractions.
This is supposed to be a unifying event for the country, not for the Latinos.
Sometimes it feels like your whole Vida has gone loca.
Not one word of English? Yeah. Not one word of English? One word!
If you're still screaming about the Bad Bunny halftime show, there's hope. Xenophoba. Prescription strength Xenophoba acts quickly to counteract even your dumbest, most deep-seated racist thoughts to get you smiling again. With Xenophoba, you'll be saying,
I love Bad Bunny.
ask your Facebook friend who thinks they know more than a doctor if Xenophoba is right for you. Xenophoba. If you see someone frown, we'll calm you down.
Why choose to sing in only Spanish except for the words "God Bless America" at the Super Bowl for the halftime show? What is the point in doing so?
Songs are predominantly in Spanish. And
why do you say predominantly?
The official language of Puerto Rico is both English and Spanish. Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States, so he's representing Puerto Rico by speaking the language that his songs are written in. So he's just giving a performance that not only represents a very real contingent of Americans, of 40 to 50 million people that speak Spanish, he also specifically said "God Bless America" while holding a football with an American flag. And the idea that he should have, did you want him to perform like a Kid Rock song in English? He doesn't have any songs in English.
I'm saying he made a political point by doing this.
It's a political point to perform his songs as they were written.
He does choose the songs that he performs, right?
And he chose his 3 or 4 most popular songs across the entire globe. I don't agree with this idea that because he spoke in Spanish, and that is not the predominant language of America, that somehow has friction with the culture. How many Super Bowl halftime shows have we had? Like dozens and dozens of dozens where people give a diverse amount of performances. We've had everyone from Kendrick Lamar to Michael Jackson, who stood there for multiple minutes on stage, Frozen, remember? So, I mean, the idea that because we have one Super Bowl halftime show that represents, a different portion of the country and still represents our country too. Like, I'm not even going to concede that he was excluding people who speak English from this. He waved the American flag. He said, God bless America. We had American traditions being shown, I guess Western traditions like marriage being shown here. It was a pretty overall unifying show. I feel it's like kind of whiny to be like, I can't believe he wouldn't speak our language, even though we don't have a national language. He was representing the way he wrote the songs.
Turning Point USA hosted an alternative halftime show, and yet every single right-wing influencer and President Trump managed to watch Bad Bunny's performance, and they all had an absolute meltdown over it. As you can see from this video, Trump is literally at Mar-a-Lago watching Bad Bunny's halftime performance instead of Kid Rock. If you didn't catch Kid Rock's performance, though, you really didn't miss too much because it looks like he lip-synced and the whole performance wasn't even live, it was pre-recorded.
Absolutely terrible. One of the worst ever. It makes no sense. This is how Trump describes Bad Bunny's halftime show at the Super Bowl. Nobody understands a word this guy is saying. The words are Spanish. Somewhere around 60 million Americans can speak and understand Spanish. And fun fact, only one country in the entire world has more Spanish speakers than the United States. That's Mexico. But Trump continues, this show is just a slap in the face to our country. Now, I'm gonna guess, no matter what language Bad Bunny sang in, Trump knew he wasn't going to like what he saw, because at the Grammys, Bad Bunny took a stand against ICE.
Before I say thanks to God, I'm gonna say ICE out.
And so, when the NFL announced last year that Bad Bunny would be playing the Super Bowl halftime show, Trump and right-leaning media leaned away.
The NFL just chose the Bad Bunny rabbit, or whatever his name, this guy who hates ICE. He doesn't like you.
I never heard of him. I don't know who he is. I don't know why they're doing it. It's like crazy.
This fits a pattern with Donald Trump, where his measure of a person's patriotism is whether they agree with his policies.
It brings up mixed emotions to represent the U.S. right now, I think.
I'll give you another example. Hunter Hess, half-pipe skier for Team USA, competing at the 2026 Olympic Games.
Just because I'm wearing the flag doesn't mean I represent everything that's going on in the U.S.
He grew up in Oregon, has 4 World Cup podiums, 2 X Games bronze medals, but also, to Donald Trump, a real loser. Says he doesn't represent his country. He shouldn't have tried out for the team, and it's too bad he's on it. And Trump's chief of protocol sees disagreement with the president the same way. Represent America with pride, or GTFO. Get the F out. And you can keep going back. Remember when Trump threatened to take away Rosie O'Donnell's American citizenship? Or when he ripped into the women's soccer team for getting knocked out of the 2023 World Cup? Calling out players like Megan Rapinoe, who took a knee during the US anthem, as openly hostile to America. Woke equals failure. That itself was, of course, in support of Colin Kaepernick doing the same, protesting racial inequality and police brutality in the United States.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Except what Trump sees as un-American, unpatriotic, and disloyal, his critics see as one of the most American things there is. Free speech, defiance, dissent.
I've learned that after being with a black woman over the 25 years now, that sometimes you don't have to look for a racist. Sometimes they just out themselves. The second the NFL announced Bad Bunny for halftime show of the Super Bowl, MAGA absolutely spiraled, and not quietly. We're talking full-blown, pearl-clutching, culture war hysteria. So much so that Turning Point USA announced an alternative halftime show, starring none other than Kid Rock, because apparently one Spanish-speaking artist was just far too much diversity for them to survive. And let's be clear, Bad Bunny isn't some kind of fringe artist. He's one of the most streamed artists of all time. He was born in Puerto Rico. Working class parents, choir kid, self-made, and above all, a philanthropist. He is the embodiment of the American dream that conservatives themselves claim to worship. So what's the problem? Is it melanin? Is it queerness? Is it Spanish? And the fact that he said the quiet part out loud at the Grammys, Bad Bunny said, "Ice out." We're not animals, we're not aliens, we're humans. And that apparently is unforgivable to a movement based on fear, white grievance, and Christian nationalism. When MAGA says their alternative show celebrates faith, family, and freedom, ask yourself, okay, whose faith, whose families, and whose freedoms? Because it sure as hell isn't Latino families or black families, definitely not immigrant or LGBTQ+, and definitely not women. This isn't about Bad Bunny, and it's not even about a halftime show. It's about whether America moves forward or retreats into a gated, white, exclusionary fantasy, and whether we're finally willing to be intolerant of intolerance. What do you want for America?
Let me explain to you liberals why MAGA is so upset about Bad Bunny and this Spanish-speaking Super Bowl halftime show. And the number one reason is not just racism, like everybody says. The real reason, and people never hear this, is that Puerto Rico and the Spanish language and Hispanic music and culture, they all make MAGA feel really insecure. And the reason for that insecurity is that it makes them feel stupid. Now, I can say this with confidence because I used to feel this way. I used to be like these people. I grew up conservative as a Republican. And I remember being, frankly, afraid. I wouldn't have said that in the time, but that's what it was. When people spoke Spanish around me and I didn't understand it, I started to think that they were talking about me, that they were doing something that, was nefarious. Now, is that rooted in racism? Yes, but it's rooted more than anything in ignorance and narcissism.
So it turns out at Mar-a-Lago, at Cedar Lake, the Super Bowl halftime of choice was not Hillbilly Half, it was Benito Bowl. And I'll admit, I was a bit surprised because, well, Kid Rock is just another name for Epstein Island. And, well, we all know how much they love that. Nobody understands a word this guy is saying, screeched the orange blubber on Truth Social. While married to an immigrant who, despite living in the US for over 2 decades, we still have no idea what she's trying to say. Hooyah, Navy! And who was curiously absent from the Cedar Lake viewing party. But you know who wasn't? Lindsey Graham, and he was sure locked in. I just know that he ran home to play this 2-second clip on repeat. But let's be real, this same crowd snacking on totopos and guacamole, screaming about illegal Puerto Ricans, they don't actually hate the music, the food, or the culture. They hate that they love it, and that they will never be a part of it.
So I just got done watching the Bad Bunny halftime show with my MAGA family, and let me tell you, nobody is more pissed off than a bunch of white people that failed Spanish in high school. They kept saying that Bad Bunny was only chosen to make people angry and to spread hate as he walked off of the field to DTMF and a sign behind him that said the only thing more powerful than hate is love. 5 seconds into the show, they were complaining about how boring it was as kids ran around in front of it and screamed to the point that you couldn't hear the show. And yes, they did keep bringing up the Kid Rock halftime show alternative that probably sounded like hot garbage. And this is coming from a Michigander, so you know that my opinions on Kid Rock have some weight considering he claims to be from here. We don't claim him though. Obviously, Bad Bunny doesn't care, and he made a mention to all the people that were going to be upset with his appearance by saying, "Is this what you wanted?" and panning to Lady Gaga, who also started speaking Spanish and singing one of her songs that she's done with Bad Bunny. MAGA is good for one thing and one thing only, and that is complaining about things that make America great.
I just want to drive my truck, drink my beer, and call a minority a slur. With words that ain't in the Bible that I claim to read. I just want to be a real man, get a fake tan, and wear $2,000 boots, but I'm still one of you. Except I'm
rich. Remember when we could say what we want without the woke mob cancel culture? Telling dirty jokes, letting boys be boys, not these feminine snowflake vultures. I saw a man die with the same kind of gun I used to hunt my deer. He was killed for speaking his truth, but he lives on inside of you. Charlie Kirk. While all of the Mexicans and immigrants are ruining my family-friendly game, dancing like savages and prostitutes in front of children. What a shame. I'd rather be right here, singing near artists who make songs about underage girls, and for the president who never went to that island. I believe you, sir. You see, we call the liberals sensitive, but the moment we get offended, we throw a tantrum show that no one goes to, and it may be pre-recorded. We hire actors to cheer for us, cause our music's bad and our morals worse. But I'll be okay knowing that someday God will open his doors, and I'll be sharing beers with my hero, Charlie. This song's for Charlie Kirk.
Their halftime show is already a flop. They can't even get it to work over on Twitter. They didn't think to figure out the licensing before they tried to stream their halftime show. For those of you who don't know, the context to this is that Kid Rock and Turning Point USA decided to have their very own halftime show, the All-American Halftime Show, because they were upset that Bad Bunny, who, by the way, is American, was performing at the halftime show at the Super Bowl. And not only are they not able to stream it on X, but other folks are reporting that it is not working on YouTube for Samsung. Calling it an all-American halftime show when the person who is performing at the actual halftime show is literally all-American is so insane. But you see, this is what happens. This is what happens when you do too much.
So just so I get this straight, though, the NFL did a whole halftime show in Spanish, and they didn't provide any subtitles. 0 subtitles for a Spanish halftime show. Just Bad Bunny a few months ago saying we had a few months to learn Spanish to understand it, and the Super Bowl Licks logo. Sorry. Because, yeah, it was Super Bowl Licks with a logo that looked like a half-assed pride flag, Bad Bunny singing in Spanish and no subtitles. Who the hell doesn't put up subtitles? Oh, yeah, and the other national anthem, too. I tell you what, I am so sick of so many institutions in this country, including the NFL, doing things that they think will tick people off. They literally said months ago, we're going to have a halftime show in another language, we're not going to provide subtitles, and if you don't like that, you're a racist. What a bunch of dumbasses.
This turned into a classic FAFO moment. When you push cultural wars non-stop, don't be shocked when the cultural pushes back louder, bigger, and on the world's biggest stage. Bad Bunny didn't just perform, he reminded everyone that pop culture is global now, and no single group gets to keep what America looks like anymore. And the Meltdown, it only made him trend even harder. They tried to cancel the moment, but ended up amplifying it. That's the reality of a FAFO season. When you rage at the spotlight, you just make it brighter. So guys, tell me what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more unfiltered gist. See you guys on the next one. Bye.